right. Following our discussion on the evolving sales force, it's quite clear that the omnichannel strategies are playing a crucial role in how companies are now engaging with their stakeholders. And this brings me to the question, Rolf, what's your experience with omnichannel strategies?
Yeah, Martin, this is a very good question. Yeah, so as we discussed in our first version here of this podcast, the disruption in the industry was the COVID times. Yeah, so when the sales or the customer-facing organization has been disclosed from the physician offices and also from the hospitals, so the entire industry started to move on with the, let's say, with a kind of an omni-channel or multi-channel type of approach. I would say the pharmaceutical industry, and I know there's a very strong hypothesis, so is still in a trial and error phase. Yeah, so with all of that. And the reason why is also we are here in pharma, we are in a very regulated environment, so with a lot of compliance rules, with a lot of legal standards, so legal limitations, and it's not so trivial, so to collect customer data as we can do that in an Amazon model, in a fast-moving consumer goods model. So therefore there are some hurdles and limitations. So therefore that's still a bit, I would say, trial and error. So customer data is one thing, and my experience also from having insights into many pharma companies is also the IT infrastructure. So quite often it's the IT infrastructure that is not given, where we have disruptions between the headquarters and the affiliates. So if they want to do something, is it bottom up or is it top down? There are some layers in between that are not harmonized, and as it takes some time, it costs a hell lot of money to align all of that. So to have one, let's say, consistent IT infrastructure. And then we should not underestimate the adoption of innovation in the industry in general is quite slow.
All right. I mean, I think that's also what we see a lot, that this is it's a key focus in today's environment when it comes to omnichannel strategies, and understanding how to connect with your customer is paramount. And while this is quite significant, as you already just mentioned, when it comes to adoption, when it comes to the IT infrastructure, for example, as well, the successful implementation can be quite challenging in the end. So is there anything else that you see why so many approaches also fail?
Another topic is, the whole commercial model in pharma, so in many pharma organizations, it's quite siloed. So there is not a common understanding of who owns the customer, who is the face to the customer, and what is the right orchestrated approach. So therefore we have a bit issues also with the behavior, with organizational hurdles and structures, also in silos. And then finally, we should not underestimate also the customer himself and herself. The customer, the question is, does the customer have the right infrastructure to communicate with the pharma organization? Is that harmonized? So we have some technical hurdles to overcome. And then finally, the customer today, and I'm talking primarily about the physician, has a high burden with administration, so with these type of things. So then let's say the focus should be on the physician visits, treatment time, and these type of things. So therefore, there is also a limited time budget available also only for the customers.
Yeah, I mean, avoiding these hurdles, these pitfalls are essential in order to build strategies on how to avoid them in the end. So this then also brings me to consider that the industry, especially post COVID, has evolved from a face-to-face sales approach towards a mix of omnichannel with face-to-face and online channels as well. From your experience and your expertise, how did the role of the customer-facing org change, and especially what requirements and skills are being needed today to be successful?
Martin, this is a very important question. So going forward, what Pharma has learned already over, let's say, the course of the recent decades, but primarily after the COVID era, is that they need to become significantly more customer oriented. So there are studies outside comparing the pharmaceutical industry with other industries, and the customer satisfaction index is not where it should be. So there is still significant room for improvement. So I think there is a need for a more orchestrated approach. So in the commercial structures, the commercial organization of the pharma, and then also we should not underestimate the skill set. So has changed over time. So formerly, the education for a sales rep was more having a scientific background, being very communicative. So being, let's say, somebody who's being liked from the sales rep. It was more the, let's say, the relationship between the physician and the sales rep that was decisive. Today, more and more technical skills, so digital knowledge, so is being asked, and then also the ability to share and to collaborate. So amongst the team is very important. So a sales rep and a key account manager needs to become more and more a good team player. So within the own customer facing organization, combining the interpersonal skills with more technical skills. Then another topic is, so there is a more systematic, or there's a need for a more systematic approach to develop clients over time. So the adoption status of a client. So is it still more or less a non-prescriber, a prescriber, an intensive prescriber? Is it a friend of mine? What is the share of mind, so of the customer, and to, let's say, continuously and to steadily develop a client over time, is let's say one of the key prerequisites and the key capabilities here in this market today.
So let's explore the following. Omnichannel works well based on excellent understanding and insights into customers' behavior. What do you say? Where's the industry today?
Well, for me, it's still a trial and error process, and there is significant room for improvement also in the pharmaceutical industry. And I guess the pharma industry needs to step up. They need to become better. So in all of that, we have as an excuse. So we have the given business model today with all the regulatory, the data hurdles, the legal compliance hurdles, and whatever you name it. But to accelerate the quality of that omni-channel or multi-channel type of approach. So you could also bring in capabilities from more fast-moving consumer goods examples, and people from the outside. And I give you one example in Germany, for example. So when the market changed for non-patent products from a pure prescribing model from the physicians towards a more tender model, so where the decision is being made now overnight from the payer organizations. So many of the companies, so they have looked for tender capabilities outside of the industry, and they brought it in. And I think in omnichannel we have a similar situation where we need capabilities from outside of the industry. Otherwise, so the adoption time is too long here, and this could accelerate the whole model.
Very good point. And I think as to conclude this session today, one last question for now. And I think this is also already a good teaser for a topic which we will dive into more in the future. So what kind of training needs do you now see for reps, key account managers, as well as MSLs in general?
Let's say a question where the requirements A have changed over time, and B have become significantly more complex. So it starts with the basics, and this is so what I'm expecting from a sales rep is that he has his or her product information under control, the own product information. So then that a sales rep is up to speed, so and at eye level when it comes to medical and clinical information, so for the product and the whole therapeutic area. Then C, it is also the competitive information. Yeah, and competitive information is not only what I'm getting from business intelligence, it's also more or less competitive information in my region. What kind of qualitative information do I have about my customer's behavior? What is my competitor doing in my region? Then knowing significantly better over time, so my the customer's needs and the behaviors. Am I receptive for, let's say, digital video calls? Or is it just more or less the face-to-face conversation that he or she wants? Then developing a client over time to get a larger share of mind from him or from her. And then it's very important being trained also in this orchestrating in an omni-channel type of world and behaving in that. Sharpening selling skills. This is a never-ending story. You always can become better in selling your products. And then finally, it's also to what degree is my customer satisfied with what I'm offering, with what I'm doing, and how does the customer, is he really or she really committed to what I'm doing here? And this is a huge package and a very colorful basket of, let's say, training needs. So for a key accounter, a sales rep, or also an MSL.
I couldn't agree more. Thanks so much again, Rolf, for your time today. This has been once again, very insightful. And also everyone else, thanks so much for tuning in for this episode of Tech and Talks Coffee Chat. And thanks, Rolf. See you next time.
It was a pleasure. Thanks. See you next time.